Ask an average person what they know about Israel today, and chances are you'll hear something about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And it makes sense. The mainstream narrative on Israel seems to focus on the conflict to the exclusion of everything else. But for outside observers, the effect is a view of Israelis through a narrow keyhole. The reality of day-to-day life for most Israelis is so much more. So without diminishing the suffering of Arabs or Jews, what is it beyond the conflict that really defines Israeli society?
We all understand that we're all part of one nation. And the one keyword that defines Israel for me in this regard is achi, my brother. That you won't hear it so much in other places in the world, maybe in the army in some places, but in Israel, every person is your brother. You call him achi. Doesn't matter if the guy come to fix your toilet, if it's a guy giving you some service, if it's a guy from your class, everyone's called achi. And that's a huge keyword that defines the Jewish kind of like coexisting in this place of a family. In a family you have fights, but you need to live together, and family you don't choose in the end.
One of the most common misconceptions about Israel is that it's made up of white European Jews. But in reality, over half of Israel's Jewish population identifies as Mizrahi, Jews from the Arab world. In fact, Mizrahi culture is a dominant force in Israeli life, from its food and music to religious traditions, politics, and law. Another important thread in the fabric of Israeli society was woven by Jews from the former Soviet Union. For decades, Soviet Jews had experienced anti-Semitism and discrimination, but were prevented from leaving the country. In 1971, the Soviet exit ban was lifted, and over the next 30 years, about 1 million Soviet Jews left for Israel in waves. At about the same time that Israel was struggling to welcome and incorporate hundreds of thousands of Jews from the Soviet Union, a devastating famine and civil war ravaged Ethiopia, forcing its minority community of Ethiopian Jews to flee for refugee camps in Sudan in hopes of ultimately making it to Israel. Operation Moses in 1984 was a covert mission that brought 8,000 Ethiopian Jews to Israel, and 14,000 more arrived through Operation Solomon in 1991. Today, there are about 150,000 Israelis of Ethiopian descent who essentially moved overnight en masse from a third world country to a modernized nation.
A lot of students think my nationality is American, my religion is Judaism. Now, the issue is that if people are not close to religion or don't believe in that, so yeah, once a year they're going to Passover or maybe doing something with religious aspect. But the main part of their life is only connected to those religious elements.
As a Jewish state, the Jewish calendar, holidays, life cycle events, and traditions are deeply intertwined with the wider culture. People unfamiliar with Israel often perceive it as a country full of religiously observant Jews. But the truth is that most Israeli Jews aren't observant, and a fifth of Israelis aren't even Jewish. Among them, atheists, Muslims, Christians, Baha'i, Druze, Circassians, and Buddhists. Tensions between ultra-Orthodox and secular Israelis on issues such as conversion, marital law, military service, and public transportation on Shabbat have been a feature of Israel's policy debates and culture wars since its inception. While these tensions are often flashpoints in Israeli public life, they also reveal the strength of the Jewish nation, a democracy able to freely and publicly question its own values, even if the disputes point to deeper divisions among Israel's social groups.
I think that we should not forget that Israel is a very young country. 70 years that we combine Jewish people from all over the world, all different backgrounds, to one place and hope they're all going to get along together in some miracle way. And I think step by step we're getting to it.
At its best, Israel celebrates its diversity of race, religion, and ethnicity. Social initiatives like Kululam, a crowdsourced music series that's become something of a phenomenon in Israel, brings tens of thousands of Israelis together in song. Even Even though Jews make up the large majority of Israel's population, for the country's founders, there were no doubts that Israel's Declaration of Independence and representative government would allow all minorities to participate in Israeli affairs and public life. The challenge of effectively governing a salad bowl society made up of distinct cultures and people, who in some cases even oppose the state, is a sensitive balancing act that can be messy at times, but reveals the free and vibrant society that defines Israel. Just a snapshot of what that free and vibrant society has accomplished speaks to the true character of the Israeli people. Israel's humanitarian efforts have taken its first responders out to earthquakes in Haiti, hurricanes in the Philippines, and the tsunami in Japan, and taken in Syrian refugees and Palestinians from Gaza for medical treatment. Its high-tech innovations touch every aspect of daily life for billions of people. From texting to USB drives, autonomous driving, drip irrigation, capsule endoscopy, and cherry tomatoes. Israelis revived an all-but-dead language, made Tel Aviv a top 10 world nightlife destination, produced a leading basketball team, Eurovision champion, and 12 Nobel Prize winners.
Any Jewish person needs to ask himself two questions. One is, why Judaism? Why basically it's important to my life? And two, how, and how I'm going to be part of that, or how I'm going to find common ground with Judaism and live a Jewish life that I really see value in it. And it's a very important question of identity that will help you a lot to understand who you are and where you want to go in your life. And I think that Israel is helping us to solve those questions.
Clearly, Israel's story can't be reduced to the conflict with its Palestinian neighbors, who call the same land home. But a new chapter on Jewish-Arab relations is also being written. In 2020 alone, Israel normalized relations with the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, and Sudan, Arab countries that counted themselves among the Jewish state's enemies 1 generation ago. In only 70 years of statehood, the tiny nation of Israel has achieved so much good for both its Israeli citizens and the world abroad. For Jews and their friends of every background, the story of that achievement, with all of its nuance, complexity, and significance, is worth understanding.